morning. Welcome to Talk Wordy to me. You are listening to Dzintra, Sullivan, international best-selling author and somewhat saintly, sometimes sarcastic author. My co-host is the sinfully sweet Stephen Ross. Welcome. Are you present and accounted for, Stephen?
I am always present and accounted for, and I'm never ever saintly. Always sinful.
I don't doubt it in the slightest. I don't doubt it in the slightest. Look, I'm really super excited about Talk Wordy to me today because it is actually about one of my favorite all-time authors. He's one that in the writing community of Twitter, up on Instagram, TikTok, he's everywhere he needs to be. He's the epitome of getting shit done when it needs to be done. And doing it with a smile. I've never seen him be rude or nasty or whatever. He's just one of those authors that you want to be around.
And doing it with an amazing head of hair.
Oh, man, his hair. I swear to God. The beard does me every time because, you know, men and beards, it's like, hello. But Matt Cesca. Matt Cesca is our, or Matthew Cesca. Which will we do? I always go by Matt, but, you know, technically speaking, Matthew Cesca.
It's technically Matthew, but I'm lazy. I kind of like the short Matt.
Matt, there's Australian as an Australian. It'd be Matt.
Wouldn't you like Mattio or
Matty?
Entertainment?
Matt. Yes,
Matt
that would
Mate.
be Matto. Matto want to go down the Servo and the Bottle and go the Arvo down the park.
Didgeridoo. That's all I got up.
All right, so back to Matthew Cesca.
Yeah.
One of the most sweetest authors of the writing community. He is an inspiration to many. He drums up support. He not only works hard on his own stuff, but he's happy to help and be supportive of the community as a whole, which is a rare thing to find these days. And when it is found, I think it needs to be celebrated. Yeah, I think I've blown enough smoke up. Matt, that's just good right now. Tell us about his books.
Well, you know, first I'd say he's an author of 4 fantasy novels: Stairs in the Woods, The Forbidden Scrolls, Redemption and Rune, and The Last Sorcerers. And he does have the Miranda Project, his first sci-fi novel. He was originally from a New England town shrouded in mystery. Mystery.
Aren't we all? Yes.
Well, yes, I'm shrouded generally in a bathrobe, but, you know, that's just me.
And now resides in the unforgiving deserts of Arizona.
Ooh. All I can think is scorpions and rattlesnakes.
Well, I'm not sure how that works with the cats.
Maybe it's like cattle snakes? No, wait.
Cattle snakes. That sounds like they sound bigger and you might have to milk them. That's a different thing altogether. I don't know. Look, one thing I do love about Matt Cesca's books, Matthew Cesca. Sorry, Matt, if I'm calling you Matt when you really want to be called Matthew, but, you know, you forgive me because you love me. The Forbidden Scrolls, Redemption and Rune, and The Last Sorcerers is one of the most cleverest set of book covers. When you're scrolling through Amazon and you've got thousands upon thousands of scrolls and books and whatever else, and you're just doom scrolling. It's not like TikTok, but you're looking for something to read, you know, and you're just doom scrolling your way through there. And half the challenge that us authors have is trying to find a book cover that makes somebody stop scrolling, you know, that halts them, that makes them go, well, what's that one about?
Who said that?
These covers times? Do that for me.
Absolutely. That's judging a book by its cover is an absolute thing. If you see a book that has a terrible cover, doesn't matter. It could be the most brilliant book in the world, and people
I scroll right by.
Yeah.
I send hate mail because I do. I scroll right by. If you can't hook me with a cover, you got no chance. And I mean, I'm not the only person out there. I'm average Joe or Georgina, as I may be called, Joette. I'm a shazza. I'm a normal shazza that you come across in Australia. And if you can't hook me with the book cover, you've got no chance of me getting near your blurb nor your book. Flat out facts, people. So get your covers right. And Matt certainly does that. His covers are very engaging and very And, I mean, you can look at them and go, geez, they're very simple. You don't have to go all out with your covers. Sometimes taking it right down to the simplicity makes it stand out more.
Yeah, stark. They're very stark, and they're very, color oriented, where they fit together. You can see them boxed together, sitting one side by side.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
They're a
so
set. You can see that they're a set. You want to buy the whole set then because you want them to
nothing better
look
than
pretty.
everyone likes a nice set. Wait, did I go the wrong way with that? I'm just
on the shelf, exactly, on the shelf. You'll get me into trouble. All right, the Miranda Project, which is his first sci-fi book. Diving into the sci-fi range for the first time, I do believe. A man's quest for power, a woman's thirst for revenge, and a continent hanging in the balance. No, that's that's the Scrolls trilogy.
Ah!
Yeah.
Well, that's all
There's
right.
in the wood a mysterious painting above the mantle holds the key to Caitlyn's destiny. Who's Caitlyn and what's her destiny? Find out, read the book. Buy it, people, buy it.
The Miranda Project, there's a little blurb on it if you want me to read it.
Yes, please do.
Yeah. All right. For the last 5 years, Alex has been on the run. Once a living weapon for a shadowy government organization, Alex is now hiding out on Mars trying to start a new life. But the shadows of his past creep around every corner. Every night, his broken mind forces him to relive the horrors he has committed. Alex isn't like most people. He's a psych. Born with rare psionic powers, each psych is a prized asset for the centralized world government back on Earth. Psychs like Alex are tracked down by the agency and trained to do the jobs the CWG doesn't want the public to know about. With Mars no longer safe, Alex is forced to run once more. Refuge won't come easy. He's running out of places to hide. And for the first time since taking his life back into his own hands, he's not running alone.
Ooh. Ooh. See, okay. I've spoken about this before and I'll still speak about it again. When you're doing sci-fi, you have to create an entire world. I mean, I know I'm talking layman terms here, but something that I admire about sci-fi writers is that the entire creation of the world has to exist with the creation of the book. Because you're going somewhere that we don't know. How do they drink? How do they eat? How do they transport? How do they walk? How do they function in their everyday life? Every little tiny bit of detail has to be accounted for. And it does my head in. I love reading it, but it does my head in on the creation part. So total admiration.
Yeah, world building is something I've never tried personally. It seems like a monumental task to me, and I guess just the idea of having to flesh everything out from top to bottom is just, it amazes me.
But you get somebody as talented as Matthew Cesca, and it's simple, and he does it with an absolute. I mean, he works very hard, Matthew. I know you work very hard, but he has a talent that can do that.
He makes it look as easy as putting on a pair of pants.
Correct.
Which I'd rather not do, but Hey.
Oh, well, no. A Stare in the Woods. This is the blurb for A Stare in the Woods. Even adults need fairy tales. I love a good fairy tale. Even adults need fairy tales. The Stare in the Woods will take a stare in the woods. I thought I spent that out there. Totally different then. The Stare in the Woods takes you through a journey into a magical fantasy world, which is also exploring a unique coming-of-age story. After spending most of her life in a continent away, Caitlin Jensen has come home to Connecticut to tend to her ailing father. But discovery of a strange painting above the mantle of her childhood home leads her to an adventure into a magical world called Summerlee. Summerlee, where magical creatures exist. But when the painting is stolen, she is trapped in Summerlee with no means of return. With little choice, a destiny she's yet to understand, and a family secret to discover, Caitlin must become embroiled in a battle to save Summerlee. the evil she must face could have a potentially dire consequences on her own world as well as the family and friends that she's left behind. I love a twisted fairy tale. Love, love, love a twisted fairy tale.
A dark fairy tale, a twisted fairy tale. I enjoy those. And I like the fact that the lead character is female.
Oh, yeah. Well, we do it best. Sorry.
I'm not arguing.
Yeah, just agree with me. And for those who want to send hate mail about this, because, I will hype it all up. Male authors can write female characters, authors can write male characters. It's a doable factor. You just do your research, people.
I've never gotten the idea that people have that you can't. How are you going to write a book if you can only write from a male perspective? Period. Are you going to only have one point of view for the entire book?
Come on, let's put. No, don't send me hate mail about that, men. I love you. Don't send me hate mail about that. I can't. Whew, I get myself in big trouble. Go on.
Yeah. I'm not going to sit in front of the keyboard and write an entire book about testosterone and manliness and everything male. It would be dull.
Well, they'd only be driving.
Some of us dudes are pretty dull.
Well, they'd all just be driving, turning left, because none of them would ask directions on how to get somewhere that might actually turn right.
Oh, that's hurtful.
I know. There you go. No.
But here's the thing, though. They'd never. Conversely, female characters would never be backing up.
Stop. I reverse park very well, thank you very much. Yeah, you're going to get hate mail. All right, the Forbidden Scrolls. The Forbidden Scrolls. Well, I'm just going to read the blurb, and then we've got some snippets to read you. The Forbidden Scrolls. He left her for dead. It was supposed to be a job like any other. Sneak in, grab the scroll from the vault, and get out. It didn't matter to Julia. Yes. What the young sorcerer wanted it for, he was paying well enough, that is, until he double-crossed her. Now, Julia has a choice. Track down Frost Dervent and the Forbidden Scroll of Fire that she stole for him, oh, goodness me. I don't know why I even do podcasts. I'm not equipped to speak.
It's been gin this morning in the coffee mug, just straight gin. Just let you know.
Or be turned over to the guards. Despite her misgivings, Julia must work with a group of adventurers to track down Frost and reclaim the scroll before he can use its powers against an unsuspecting world. But the journey to stop him will take her to the last place she ever wanted to return to, home. I like it. So there's a bit of a looky into the books that he has out at the moment. He's working on a couple books coming out, a follow-up to the Miranda Project.
Mm-hmm. He is. He has. Yes, follow-up to the Miranda Project.
Working on a new fantasy novel.
Yeah, the Shadow Sisters. There's a little tiny snippet of that. I can run it through quickly if you'd like.
Yeah, do. All right. You see the name Shadow Sisters, immediately I go, ooh. It's just one of those titles that I go, okay, you have my interest, Matthew Cesca. You have my interest. That's where we're going.
The Shadow Sisters is a story of a young woman named Angia from a small coastal village. She's been raised since she was 5 to become one of the sisters of the Temple of Chrisma. Am I saying that right?
I would think so.
Charisma. Charisma. I'm drunk too.
Yes.
I don't even drink and I'm drunk. The goddess of life and light. In order to get in, there's a test. A dance she must perform. Ooh, I like dancing. Let's dance. Let's dance. No. Angia must pass this test or die trying. Only everything she knew about the dance and her entire life up to that moment has been a lie. That really intrigues me.
It's not like a rumba. I'm getting it. It's probably not like a rumba or a jive. I'm thinking there's probably a little bit more to it.
Samba? No, not samba. No, probably not.
Could be a little samba, but I don't know. You don't generally die. But you have the dance of the 7 veils, but that's a whole different thing as well.
Oh, my.
But look, he's got my interest with the Shadow Sisters, Matthew Cesca.
That one sounds really intriguing.
Yeah.
The idea behind it is something I've never seen before, so something like that intrigues me a great deal. I'd love to get my hands on that.
All right, well,
I'd love to get my hands
Matthew.
on your stuff, Matt. What?
We all want hands on Matt's stuff. All right. We got, for those who listen to Talk Wordy to me, we do get little snippets given to us by the author themselves. We do not steal anything. We do not read anything that we have not been given permission for. So the words that we're reading, the blurbs on the back of the book, so people. So that's free for everybody. But the stuff inside the chapters that he's given us to read out, he's given freely for us to play with. So thank you, Matt. Appreciate. All right. What are you reading first?
I guess I'll read a snippet from the Miranda Chat Project, Chapter 1.
Chapter 1.
Chapter 1. Well, it's always good to start at the first chapter. I've tried to write the book backwards.
Well, you better don't do it backwards. Miranda Project, sci-fi people, bring it on.
There we go. Ready to go? Here we go. The crowd thinned, and Alex ducked into an alley between two hab units. He found a shadow along one of the walls and slipped into it. It was midday, and the sun was near its apex in the butterscotch sky above the mostly clear habitation dome. From his hiding spot, Alex would be able to see his assailant clearly and gauge the threat appropriately. His tail rounded the corner and entered the alley. It didn't take much for Alex to place him as a junkie looking for a score of red dust. He held a straight razor in one of his shaking hands and twitched as he looked around for his quarry. Alex had a non-threatening look. He was a slightly above average height and had the appearance of an average build. He was wearing his work jumpsuit, which hid his well-toned physique beneath. He assumed that he looked as an easy target as any other settler on Mars, but he had certain skills and abilities that set him far apart from the colonists he was hiding amongst. He was a trained weapon. "Where'd you go, fucker?" The thug had taken a few steps into the alley, but had stopped before he got into Alex's position. Alex had hoped the junkie would have entered far enough he could just step out from the shadows behind him. He didn't want to have to use his powers if he could avoid it. If someone saw him, he'd be pegged as a psych. If recognized, it would make him a target for the agency. He'd already spent 5 years avoiding them since his escape. He had no desire to go back and be a tool for them once again. He knew if he was found and captured, they would force him to rejoin their ranks, or they might just kill him outright this time. Alex was a flight risk after all. He'd already run more than once. There was no sign of movement outside the alley, and Alex decided to chance it. He blinked his eyes and then blinked out of existence, reappearing directly behind the thug. In an instant, he slammed the junkie with a closed fist to his right kidney and then put him in a chokehold. The razor clattered to the ground, and Alex kicked it away. "Who sent you?" he hissed.
See, I love it. And, it's something that Matt does often, and good writers will do this as well. Using words, descriptive words that you don't, okay, for instance, at the start of that chapter where he used the word butterscotch sky, a butterscotch sky. It's not a common word that we use to describe the color of a sky, but I love it. It gives me a sense of warmth, and I know the color of butterscotch instantly, and it gives me that, I just love the color, and the way he describes it puts me in the scene immediately.
It paints the backdrop. For me, I see almost the dinginess of this, futuristic setting where everything is dark and gritty and very, like I can see the sky in my mind right now.
And because it's midday, so he's set up that it's midday, the sun's in its apex and the sky's a butterscotch color. So what you know as your reality is not the reality of the world that Matt has built in this. And I love that. And you've got to get that out at the start so that you can really set your reader upon the journey that you want to take them on. I love that. It's such a beautiful word, butterscotch sky. I like that. It sticks out.
A great descriptive set of words.
Yes.
And I like how it was able to immediately kind of thrust us into a different place. I didn't need copious amounts of description of, well, the alley looked like this and the buildings look like this and this is what.
You're there.
No, I saw it right away.
Very clever. Very clever. Matt's
you
very
let
clever
the reader
with
do let the reader's imagination fill in what they need to.
Yeah. It's a very clever technique to put the skeleton down and let them flesh it out.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so chapter 9. We're going to jump to chapter 9. You're going to listen to my dulcet tones now from the Miranda Project too. Chapter 9. So let's jump forward 8 chapters, people. Come with me. Alex let his fingertips graze the letters carved into the granite obelisk, letting them read the names engraved there to make sure his eyes hadn't deceived him. A soft drizzle caked the monuments in rivulets, which dripped slowly down its edifice. He heard the water from Puget Sound lapping upon the shore of what used to be the Seattle suburb of Normandy Park. Now, much like the rest of the area between Seattle and Tacoma, it was nothing but a wasteland of shattered dreams and broken homes. The memorial shrine to those lost in the eruption of Mount Rainier covered nearly half a mile of real estate along the shoreline. It had taken Alex almost an hour to find the names he had been looking for on the black stone pillars. Even with the victims alphabetized, oh my God, I can't get the word. Alphabetized. God damn it.
Pursue lips and blow.
I swear to God, Dzintra, sometimes, girl. With the victims alphabetized by the last name and town, the scope of the disaster had simply been so massive he needed an exorbitant amount of time to read the names scrawled into the monument before him. His fingers traced each letter. Thomas Alexander, age 53. Miriam Alexander, age 47. Leah Alexander, age 17. The names engraved in the stone cemented it for him. At least the memories of his family had been real. After Walsh Garcia had unlocked his mind, everything had been flashing through his mind at a breakneck pace. It had been hard to separate fact from fiction. Standing at the memorial and seeing his parents' and sisters' names engraved in the stone gave them a sense of solidarity he could trust over the flurry of memories currently racing through his head. Alex glanced to make sure that he wasn't being watched. It was a new habit he had picked up even since walking in the hospital after washing ashore along the southeastern tip of Elliott Bay. He knew the agency would be after him now. I like it. Yeah,
right from the beginning, with the fingertips grazing along the letters, there's a sense of melancholia and not loss, but
a desolate feeling.
It's very desolate.
Yeah.
And I guess whenever it's hammered down with the names and the ages, that's what hits you the hardest.
Yeah. And being related, that's mother, that's father, that's sister. It hits you. It hits you. Mm-hmm. All right, so we're going to jump forward another 30 chapters. So we're into chapter 39. 39, the last snippet of the Miranda Project. All right, take it away.
I'm taking it. Reading another person's thoughts wasn't as simple as opening a book and absorbing the words within. If you weren't careful, the person whose head you were invading could feel you thumbing through the pages and dog-earing the corners. If you were reckless, you could crack the spine of their mind, destroying it. You'd need to be delicate, using more scalpel than sledgehammer. Since they were going to be working together on Europa, Stockton had been briefed on Ayad's psionic powers while in transit from Luna. She was a telekinetic, much like Commander Wright. This meant it would be less likely she would have any kind of mental shielding from his telepathic abilities. And yet, despite being a teleporter, Alex had been surprisingly resistant to his mind probe earlier in the day. There were no guarantees one way or another, it seemed. Additionally, he didn't like the idea of encroaching into the privacy of another person's mind. Never mind betraying the trust of one of his fellow agents. He had trained himself to block out stray thoughts and to give people around him some measure of comfort. It also kept the noise down within his own head. If he was certain he hadn't learned how to build this wall, he would have long since grown insane from hearing everyone else's thoughts constantly. He'd only use his powers against the CWG's enemies since he had learned how to control it. The last thing he had ever expected was to count his old partner among that number. In order to find out what he needed to know, he had to risk alienating a potential ally. He hated it, but didn't see an alternative. Exhaling slowly, Stockton dove deeper into Rabia Ayad's mind. He took care as to be as unintrusive as possible, not wanting to risk exposing his presence to her.
All right, Matt, I've got a problem with you. Dog earring corners. Like,
I
even
saw
making
you
reference
do that on
to
one
that
of your TikToks.
I know. I do that. That's +1 for a talkie talk. But that sentence alone, the person whose head you were invading could feel you thumbing through the pages and dog-earing the corners. I love it. It sets such a mental image.
It's definitely, and it's reminiscent of things I've read. Well done work, like the Dead Zone, Stephen King's Dead Zone, where he talks about. No, sorry, it wasn't the Dead Zone. It was another one. But regardless, anyway, where the idea of entering someone's mind and feeling through it, it's a fascinating concept to me.
See, I've always thought of putting like a file of facts, like, thumbing through like a file of facts. And then I thought, A, I'm old, and B, would people still know what that is? Like,
you see, you're dating both of us here because, I know, we call them Rolodexes over here, because we're in North America. And,
or, thumbing through the, when you're at the library and you're having to, trying to find where your book was.
Dewey Decimal System.
The Dewey Decimal System, filing through somebody's brain like that. It's those sorts of images that Matthew Cesca has a real talent to put down into words. It puts the reader immediately there with no effort. I mean, a lot of effort by Matthew, but from a reading point of view, you're just taken there. You don't have to, you're not even having to walk there. You're taken there instantly by Matthew's cleverly constructed words.
Absolutely. And the idea of being into other people's minds, and the noise.
Nobody would want to get in mine.
Oh yeah, no, join the club. No.
Yeah, if you get in there, you're gonna take Dettol with you because you clean up. You're gonna need to clean up after you get out. You're not gonna come out feeling nice.
You're gonna need a mop and a bucket from my.
A mop and a bucket. That's it.
There's definitely some maybe some penicillin too. I don't know.
I need a doctor's visit. So that is the Miranda Project, currently one of Matthew Cesca's sci-fi books. There's a sequel coming out to it. I don't have the dates on that. The Shadow Sisters. So
I don't know.
I don't know if that. Hang on, I don't think the show. Let me pull it back up. The Shadow info.
Shadow Sisters upcoming.
That's his fantasy book. I'm wrong. The follow-up to the Miranda. Sorry, Matthew. The follow-up to the Miranda Project is still in the running for a science fiction contest. So that's separate to the new fantasy novel being the Shadow Sisters.
Correct.
I should really read the information before I do these shows. Just saying.
But then where would the spontaneity be?
Spontaneity. It's not the spontaneity I have a problem with. It's the facts. I've got to get the facts right.
Facts. Alphabetized.
I got it now.
I'm not saying it either.
Otherwise Matt will hunt me down and go, what the hell? What you doing? Oh, no, Matthew, I really don't.
You can stalk Matthew. Of course, he's all over social media. He also has his website, which is a beautiful backdrop of floating embers in behind the image. I love that. It's a really well done website.
MattCesca.com. MATT, Matt Cesca, CESCA.com.
You can find him on TikTok. I don't think I've stalked him on TikTok yet. I guess I'm not
he's great.
that.
He's on the Tickety Talk. He's awesome on the Tickety Talk. The one thing I love also about Matthew with his social media presence is he's got the same name across all of them. Drives me nuts. People drives me nuts. Have one name, put it across all your social media so that I can find you anywhere.
Yeah, I get that. TikTok is at @Nightshade_386. His Twitter is at Nightshade386. His Instagram at Nightshade386. 386.
So literally you put Nightshade. Well, it's 365, but he counts in a couple of extra days just for the hell of it. He's world building.
There you go.
I don't know. I'm just creating a whole facade for Matt right now. Nightshade 386. You type that into your social media platform of choice, you're going to find Matt Cesca. So I love that. It's very, very smart move. I do the same thing. Not that I'm smart, but same name across it all. That way, it doesn't matter where you are, people will find you. I mean, and it doesn't have to be your author name. It just has to be the same name.
It helps.
You could be Big Booty Betty. That's fine. Just make it Big Booty Betty on every, well, if you want to, on every platform, so that if somebody knows you on one platform and you're trying to build up a different platform as well, they just have to look for Big Booty Betty. Not that Matt is Big Booty Betty. That is not. He's a Nightshade. He's Nightshade. Nightshade 386.
He might.
Well, he might have a big booty. I don't know. I'm not talking. He's got the hair and the beard.
There you go. I'm missing the hair. I just have the beard.
You can't have a triple threat of the hair, the beard, and the big booty. Sorry, okay. Matt. 2 out of 3.
There you
go. For those who want to find out about Matt Cesca, MattCesca.com. It has everything on there. About him, about his book, what's coming up, how to find his stuff, and he does a lot of merch as well. Which is something he's right into the Redbubble. So if you want to go buy cups and mugs and all sorts of exciting and interesting things with slogans on them, Matt does all that too. He's just a multi-purpose. There's so many strings to his bow.
Yeah, and you can grab him. I believe he's on Apple, as well as Amazon, Barnes and Noble, BookBub. He's all over the place. He's easy to find anywhere.
You had me. You can grab him. I went, okay. With the cats. I mean, I can. I don't mind. How many cats are we talking about? Like, is it a lot of cats? Is it like upwards of 5?
I'm waiting for the tasteless pussy joke.
Nah, not today. Not today, my friend. Not today. All right. So there you go. Miranda Project is what you've been hearing the snippets from. We read the blurbs for The Forbidden Scrolls, Redemption and Ruin, and The Last Sorcerer. Of course, the Stair in the Woods, which is a twisted dark fairy tale. People get on it. That's
Absolutely.
it.
That's it for today. We're done.
Matthew's ticked. We love him.
We're ticked. Everyone's ticked-topped.
He's one of my favorites. I do have a soft spot for Matthew Cesca.
Yeah, he's a sweet guy.
All right. Until next time. You've been listening to The Sinfully Sweet, Stephen Ross.
Hey.
And the saintly but somewhat sarcastic Dzintra Sullivan. You're welcome.
And even sweeter.
No. Okay, no sweet. All right. Until next time. We do apologize too. We try to get this out monthly. We've sort of slipped a little bit. We had technical issues and all the other jargon that goes along with it. But, we're here and we do our best. So thanks for supporting us.
Yeah, we appreciate it. We really do.
All right. Until next time with the next guest. Woo.
Same podcast. Well, maybe not the same podcast time. We'll see. We'll do the best we can.
We'll do something next time. All right. Until then.
Bye for now.
Bye for now.